Hey, all you cool cats and kittens. It's Carol Baskin, and you are listening to Fascination Street.
I believe that everybody has a story, and I'm fascinated to hear them. So come with me as we take a walk down Fascination Street. Welcome back, Streetwalkers. This episode is with Nikki Dixon and Nicholas Rice. Nikki and Nick met each other in Glenn Morshower's acting class. You all know previous guest of the show, Glenn Morshower, but what you may not know is that my sister is also in that class. And that's how today's show came to be. So thanks, Stephanie, for hooking me up with Nikki and Nick. In this episode, we talk about how Nikki and Nick, separately, came to fall in love with the art of acting and how they ended up in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. We also talk about how they both independently found the Glenn Morshower acting class, some of the projects that they have worked on, and we talk about an upcoming film that these two are pulling the strings on. We talk a lot about the steps to get a movie made, and there's a lot of luck involved there. There is an actor who is mentioned several times as hopefully being a part of this project. I put a sound effect over that name, so no spoilers. So don't freak out every time you hear that sound effect. This is my conversation with Nikki Dixon and Nicholas Rice.
Yeah, talk to me, yeah.
Welcome to Fascination Street Podcast, Nikki Dixon and Nicholas Rice. How you guys doing today?
Doing well. Perfect,
So
actually.
Good. So good. I like that. Perfect is a good word. Let's go with that.
Rock on. Nikki, I'm going to assume you're in the Dallas-Fort Worth area right now?
I am here for the time being. We'll see how long that lasts.
Nicholas, where you at?
I live in the DFW area, but I'm currently in Atlanta shooting a Chase Bank commercial.
Now, DFW is an airport, so that means you live near the airport. All right,
I actually do. Yeah, I really do.
Oh. First of all, I want to give a shout out to Stephanie Carter, friend of the show. And I guess she's also my sister for putting all of us together. I guess you guys are all in a class together. So thank you, Stephanie. I appreciate your help.
Thanks, Stephanie. Hey, Steph.
I always like to start with where people came from to help us explain how they got to where they are. So if you wouldn't mind, Nikki, where were you born and raised?
Actually, I was born in East Texas, a small town called Overton. Probably hadn't heard of it. You run right through it. It's got one railroad track, and then you're out of it.
Which side of the tracks were you on?
I was on the left.
I meant good or bad? Come on, right, wrong side, whichever.
I was always on the wrong side of the track.
It's called Overton? Where is that?
Overton. It's near Tyler.
So not Overton Park, but Overton.
Overton.
And in case anybody listening doesn't know where Tyler is, it's okay if you don't.
It's fine. It's in Texas. Just know that. It's in Texas.
Yeah, if you look up Tyler, you're probably not going to find some really flowery, positive news stories about Tyler.
Even though they are the rose capital of the nation, but you know.
Yeah.
Well, yellow ones, right? Just the yellow ones.
Anyway, enough about Tyler. I moved to DFW Flower Mound area when I was 6 years old. So I consider myself a native to Dallas, if you will, Dallas Metroplex.
Sure, that's where you grew up. Did you bring your parents with you, or was this just a long
I just
walk?
came by myself. My mom, dad, they came up and they decided to raise me here. And, you know.
What precipitated the move? Why did they decide to get
My mom, she found a job because, I don't think there were jobs in Overton besides Dairy Queen. And so, you know, that wasn't paying minimum wage or a living wage. She decided she wanted to do something better for me. So
rock on.
Came here, to Flower Mound, which was literally a flower in a mound when we moved there. But now it's nuts how much growth they have there. Then I went to North Texas, University of North Texas, go Eagles, where I got a degree in psychology and criminal justice, which I'm doing absolutely nothing in.
Nobody does.
And
Nobody uses their degree. The only people that I know that use their degree are, nobody. That's right.
Right.
just nurses, really. It's just nurses. But I think it might be a prerequisite that you get a law degree if you want to become a stand-up comic.
for whatever that's worth. Nick, where are you born and raised, man? Where are you from?
That's actually kind of funny. I had no idea Nikki was from Overton. I lived in Tyler for 16 years.
Did you?
I really did.
Oh, look at that.
I know. I went to junior college in Jacksonville, Texas, spent 3 years there, and then I transferred to Dallas Baptist University. So I was actually kind of back and forth between Dallas and Tyler for a solid 5 years, like just going back and forth. So I was born in Texarkana, grew up a pastor's kid. We went between Oklahoma and Texas a lot. And then whenever I graduated high school, I think I found myself in Oklahoma City, 3 years there. And then I went down to Tyler, and I was in Tyler for the longest time until I moved to DFW, which is shortly after that I met Nikki. So, yeah, but I was
the
in Tyler.
best day of his life.
It really was. It really was.
So you guys...
One of the best days of my life.
No, the best day.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. The best day.
Oh, snap. So you guys and Stephanie are all in the same acting class. Can I say who is the... Is it okay if I say who's the teacher? Okay, it's previous guest of the show, Glenn Morshower, who you know from literally every show on television and almost every movie you've ever seen.
So true.
So is there not a part of that class where he says, stand up and tell everybody where you're from? How do you guys not know that y'all are in the same town or whatever? Like, how does that happen?
Well, yeah, go ahead, Nikki.
When he came in, I'd been there for, years. So yeah, we had that sure at the beginning, but
by the time Nick got there, it wasn't important.
We didn't care.
Hey, Nick, where you from? Just kidding. Don't care. Sit down. We don't care where you're from.
Just act. Can you act? Okay, great.
Well, we were doing warm-ups in class, and we had this one where you have to go over and give them the ball and say only love, and you can give them some kind of gesture. So I walked over to Nikki and I just gave her a big bear hug, and she wasn't expecting it. And so then she kind of had a little crush on me after that. And so.
Good. And then I got to know him and it wore off.
Yeah, it really did. Real quick.
That's how it happens, man. That's how it happens. So how did you guys find the class? Like, what I mean is not how did you find it? Like, it was next to the potatoes, but no, I guess that is what I mean. So how did you guys find this class and decide to be a part of it?
Glenn, he came and actually would come in and just do little workshops and seminars. So he came in to do a little workshop at Stage, which is kind of a place where, instructors can go when they don't have a true class and just have a little workshop for a day or 2 days or whatever. So I went and I just loved it. And so we kept in touch. And so whenever he got the extra mile going, he let me know. He's like, hey, Nikki, I got a class that's going. It's going to be ongoing. These are my nights. You want to come out and join? I was like, sign me up.
What about you, Nick? How did you stumble upon this class?
Well, I mean, just to let you know, Nikki is not just an attender. She's actually one of the teachers. And so I was getting there. Yeah. Oh,
he
okay.
Didn't say it, but I know about it. Glenn called me up and was like, look.
So, yeah. Anyway, I just like to talk her up as much as I can. The way I got into it, he actually works off of nothing but referrals. And so he doesn't have a website or anything like that you can go to, at least not that I'm aware of.
That's information he's keeping from you.
Well, maybe so. I got his email address, which is his wife. She's the one that handles all the scheduling and the people coming in and the auditions for the class. And so Carolyn, I got her email address. I sent her an email saying I was referred to this class by such and such, which, I forget her name. I forget her name who referred me. And I shouldn't because I'm friends with her.
It don't matter. It don't even matter.
Shauna Toft. She's no longer in the class, but she referred me, and I absolutely loved it, and they accepted me. And so I think I was an observer for a solid 4 months before I even became a performer. But I'm that kind of way. I like to sit back and just kind of watch, see how things are going. And then
you're a wallflower.
Yeah, man. I just like to see how things are before I actually dive straight in. So
you're the one at the club who's leaning against the wall for the first 9 songs, and then
so true, so true. You have no idea.
So, Nikki, let's talk a little bit about some of the stuff that you've done previously. I know recently you were in, I think you were in the TV show Cruel Summer, right?
Yes, I was. I had a couple episodes of that. Mm-hmm.
Queen of the South, Claws, you're all over the place. What's going on?
I'm just trying to work, right? You got to eat. And I think that's the only way you can eat is to work.
That's what I hear. That's what
I'm trying to do. Yeah. So I'm really proud of what I've done here. A lot of times people don't think that you can have a successful acting career based in Dallas because it's, Dallas. But I mean, you can, you're not going to be famous, maybe, perhaps, might get there, but you can eat. So I'm happy to eat.
So a lot of people, well, maybe some people don't know that, not everything is filmed everywhere where there's things. Like that movie, The Alamo, not a single frame of it was shot in San Antonio. Like what?
Right.
What? So it makes sense that people might not think that you could eat.
Yeah.
And that's not because the food in Dallas sucks, which it does, but that's not the reason. So why Dallas, Nikki? I know that the reason that you're in Dallas is because your parents moved there, but why didn't you go to one of the coasts? It's always LA or New York, LA or New York. Why'd you pick Dallas? I'm
one of those people that I like to eat. I'm just never been one of those that's like, I need to be a starving artist. And so I feel like everybody that goes to LA has no money. And so my brain doesn't function like that. So I've always had just like a full-time job. And then I got a whole house and a whole husband. And that kind of planted me, if you will. But, we're working through some things right now to where, we might try to get me a place out in Los Angeles to take things to the next level.
I'm going to edit that to where it just says that you and your husband are trying to work some things out. He's going to be like, wait, what?
Wait, what? Editing. Yes.
Nick, why Dallas? Why not LA, New York?
Yeah, the plan was to go to bigger markets, and I had settled on LA because I had connections with an LA agent, which I'm now signed with. But, COVID kind of interrupted all of that because I was literally on the verge of going out there in the fall of 2020. I'm so glad that some of the positive things that came out of COVID, like that was one of them, because it literally made the industry go virtual when it comes to auditions. There's pros and cons of that. Pros is like everybody has an opportunity. Cons is now the market's super huge, when it comes to competition and everything. But, I've had more auditions out of LA and Atlanta and Chicago and New York because of it. And I hadn't had to leave the Dallas area. Even in Dallas, like all of my auditions are virtual. I don't even have to go down to Austin to audition anymore, which is superb, man.
Sweet.
Where are you?
I'm in San Antonio.
Oh,
the only town. Yeah, the only city in Texas that matters.
Dude, the guy I usually stay with when I go down to Austin, he lives in San Antonio, so I always have to make that hour-and-a-half drive anytime I go get a booking in Austin.
Because there's so much booking in Austin?
I mean, I've booked I think 3 jobs this year in Austin. So
this year,
there's quite a few things going on in Austin.
Sweet.
Yeah. Well, if you got Fear and almost every commercial, like big commercial that I've shot was in Austin. The other big commercial I shot was in Oklahoma because it was WinStar.
The casino?
Yeah, the casino.
Fear the Walking Dead is shot in Austin?
Outskirts of Austin.
So weird. I don't know why I thought it was Atlanta. Walking Dead was Atlanta.
Walking Dead is in Atlanta.
Walking Dead started in Austin and moved to Atlanta.
Oh, cool.
It's in Atlanta.
It is in Atlanta now. Yeah.
Okay, so you guys, back to you guys. Enough about Fear. So when did you know, and let's start with Nikki, when did you know that you wanted to be in the biz? When did you get bit by that bug?
I mean, I had some church plays and all that kind of stuff, but one day
there's only one church play, right?
Only one. It's the Nativity. Duh.
The play.
Easter. Easter. You got to have your Easter, speeches and do all that stuff too, which I did. But I was sitting in my psychology class at the University of North Texas, and I was like, you know what? I don't want to sit and listen to people's problems for the rest of my life. This is dumb. So I went down the street to Katie's studio and signed up for a commercial acting class. And my first agent was actually the teacher, Yvette Stone, rest in peace. Oh. And she signed me right away. And that's how it started.
Nick, when did you know? When did you get bit by the bug, man?
4 years, bro. I was actually a full-time worship leader whenever I started hearing advertisements for this.
The family business.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it is a family business. You're right. My dad, he just retired as a pastor. And so I was a worship leader for 16 years. But I was hearing advertisements for actors, models, and talents for Christ. I know Nikki doesn't like them, but I it's like, anyway, they were an organization kind of like an acting class type of thing, but they also have what we call showcases. And so I think I heard their advertisements for a solid year before I gave it a go because their tagline was cheesy. It was like, be a star for Jesus. And I'm like, really? That can't be right. So I called them and I did an e-audition and they actually turned out to be really legit.
Well, they missed a great opportunity to be a superstar for Jesus Christ.
Yeah. I think they really realized that and they're like, no, we're not going to go down that route.
Yeah.
But they had like the best teachers and the best mentors. And so I signed on and I can sing and perform in front of thousands of people. I've been doing that for 16 years. It's not,
and hit it.
No, no, because I haven't done it in a long time. But at that time, I was pretty fresh in it. And, I did a showcase with solo, group singing, acting, and modeling. But the only thing that I got callbacks for that stuck were the acting and modeling side. And so I was like, all right, let's make a career change. And ever since then, I booked my first audition with a commercial print, which was awesome. It was with a Toyota Tundra. That picture for that print ended up on the wall in the VIP lounge at the Toyota Center where the Rockets play, which was so freaking cool because you never can find the final product on a commercial print job unless they just directly send it to you. And a friend of mine who actually entertains his clients because he's in real estate, he entertains them in the VIP lounge. So he snapped a picture of that and put it on Facebook and tagged me. And so I was like, hey, that's my face.
I got a buddy who was on a billboard probably a little over a decade ago. It was a billboard for a gym, and he never could find the billboard, but they sent him like a little desktop version of the billboard, which I thought was super rad.
That's pretty sweet.
Cool. That is cool.
That's pretty sweet.
Cool.
Hey, Streetwalkers, here's a word from our sponsors.
Welcome to the Player Series. I'm Gary Player, and throughout the series, we're going to take you through incredible stories, conversations with legends and current players, perspectives on current events in and around golf, and much more. Don't forget to subscribe to the Player Series on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcast.
Let's get back into it.
So I'm going to give you some good news once we start talking about the project because I literally just got some good news.
Oh, breaking news.
Breaking news. One of my producers was calling me, but I told her I couldn't answer because I was on your podcast, but just let you know.
Yeah, you just wait, lady. Okay, so we talked a little bit, but like super briefly. Actually, we didn't talk about it at all. We just named them. So, Nikki, what was your experience like working on, just pick one, Queen of the South, Claws, Cruel Summer with my sister?
Yeah, Stephanie was on Cruel Summer.
So was Kevin Smith's daughter, Harley Quinn.
What, is that his daughter?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't
That's
know
Kevin
that.
Smith's daughter. Yeah, he's a comic book nerd. And so he named her Harley Quinn. And yeah, that's her. That's Kevin Smith's daughter.
She's one of the leads on there. Yeah, she was really good. Queen of the South, I think, is probably one of the best experiences I had because I was on there. I was on 7 episodes in season 2. You develop relationships and you feel like you're actually part of the cast. Whereas a lot of times when you're just, and I won't say just because that's not a good word, but when you're a day player and you're just in and out, you're literally there just to move the story forward. You don't have really much say in what's going to happen next and with your character and where your character is going to go. But with Queen, they were able to say, hey, so what do you think about this? How would she do this? Or why would she do this way? And so it was really a great experience to be able to be collaborative with the different directors and the other actors. And I made great relationships with the folks I worked with, Veronica Falcone, Nick Sager. I actually never had a scene with the lead, which is Alicia Braga. Never had a scene with her, but she's the sweetest person in passing. So it was just a great experience all the way around.
Nice. Nick?
Man, I haven't done as many as she has. I would have to say the project we're about to do together is probably going to be our biggest one because I'll get to act alongside Nikki for literally the whole 6 weeks.
So are you saying it's going to be your biggest one, or are you speaking for her and saying it's going to be both of your biggest ones?
I don't know. Well, I mean, if we get the names that we want, then it'll be both of our biggest ones. So,
I'm sorry, guys. I'm booked that week or that month. However long. I'm sorry. I just can't do it.
Yeah, I actually just got connected to 3 producers, and they all have direct connections. And so we're definitely going after him for the role of Michael. They're pretty confident that they can not only get it in front of him, but talk him into it.
Wow. Sweet.
And he says this on the podcast.
I'm just saying.
I'm just sending
you can
this
edit that
directly. No. I'm sending it directly to.
I'm just saying they have a direct connection to him. I can't tell you how, obviously, but they've worked with him in the past. And
so we'll say wish list. Wish list is what we'll say.
Definitely a wish list. He's our first priority when it comes to this specific role.
First choice.
Like, yeah. So it's going to be offered to him first. And then if he is either busy or
if he says no, the next person, you were second choice. Yeah. That's great to know. Or third.
Hey.
Can we cut this whole segment? Let's start
a lot of editing to do. Holy
God, Nick.
Sorry. What do I need to say?
Do you see why I broke up with him like right away?
Yeah, it wasn't the hug. It wasn't the hug, man. It was that you just won't shut up, bro. Okay, so let's talk about this project that you guys are doing together. I know we preemptively talked about it a minute. So first of all, what is the project and how are you guys affiliated with it? I mean, Nick, it sounds like you're juggling producers over here, so I'm assuming that you're not just doing the choreography.
No, I'm actually the lead writer, the lead producer, and the main actor.
And what is this thing called?
It's called Preemptive Strike Beyond Sight.
It's called Nick's movie.
Yeah. Hey, I'm telling you, I wrote this to catapult careers, including my own.
Did you say Preemptive Strike and then you said a whole nother words?
Beyond Sight.
Why so many words, man?
Well, the Beyond Sight are in parentheses. So I don't know exactly how you say that. There was 2 different names suggested. And the reason why I left it the way it is for one, searching criteria on IMDb. Like right now you can search Preemptive Strike and it'll pop up. But whenever we were creating the page, it wouldn't pop up because there was episodes and all this other stuff that had the same name of Preemptive Strike.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And so we had to kind of go with something else. But the second movie is actually named Beyond Sight, Gabriel. And so I kind of had to make that tie-in.
So second movie?
Yeah, the sequel.
Or prequel, actually.
Okay,
it's kind of like all of them. It's prequel, happens at the same time, and sequel type of thing. Like it's
like Cruel Summer. It happens over 3 different years. But
yeah, pretty much, yeah.
So let's talk more about Preemptive Strike Electric Boogaloo. So why did you decide to write this film?
I had this idea a couple of years ago. This is the second year. So I had an idea. I wanted to make it a short film first, but
I'm going to stop you right there. There's no money in short films. Okay, go ahead.
None. No, you're spending money on short films. There's no money in short films. You're spending it. And so I had the idea. Then I had a dream about one of the scenes that did have that scene in the movie, but after all the revisions, it got completely redone. But I really liked the idea of it. So we kind of molded it off of that idea. And I wrote the first draft. And I think the first draft was 65 pages, and I did all that on my own. I needed to get input because I'd never written anything before when it comes to screenplay. And so Nikki was gracious and just
Is that the word you want to use? Okay.
Yeah, gracious. Yeah, because she read it. I'm pretty sure it didn't take her much time to read it because it was only 65 pages long. And full feature scripts usually are between 90 and 110 pages.
She read it like this. Nope.
She came back and said, Nick, you have way too many narratives. And I'm like, what the heck is a narrative? And the narratives are like what's explaining the scene. And I had like all the story in the narratives instead of in the dialogue. So her first critique was you need to change this and put basically all of what you're explaining into the dialogue where the characters are telling the story. And I said, okay. And so I went back and I basically did that. And then it ended up being a little over 90 pages. And while I was doing that, I was working at Anytime Fitness as the manager of the front office. And someone came in to inquire about memberships, but he happened to be one of the writing teachers at KD Conservatory, which is where Nikki started her career. He teaches writing. He also has an award-winning movie out called Music Within, and he's a part of the WGA union. He's just absolutely amazing. And so he took that script and went through several different what we call coverage and analysis. And man, he ripped our first draft a new one.
Wait a minute. Hold on. He ripped our second draft.
Actually,
he didn't rip it. What Nick had was a Lifetime movie when he gave it to me. And I was like, is that what you're trying to do? Are we trying to do Lifetime Hallmark? Because that's what this is. And he's like, no, I'm actually not trying to. I was like, okay, this needs to change today.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, we changed it.
And it went through 23 rewrites. And now we have like this gritty UFC military superhero movie that could potentially be rated R if we wanted to, but we're going to try our best not to make it that. And the breaking news that just happened is I just got notice from Dana White, the guy who runs the UFC, that they want in.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah. So there's a call happening next week to go over legality.
Nice.
Wow.
Literally, that's literally what my producer just said. So she was trying to call me and I was like, I'm on a podcast. And then she messaged me through the group message with me and another producer. And she's like, hey, UFC wants in.
That's awesome.
I was like, oh, dang. So,
whoa. How excited are you?
I'm pretty excited because that was our first thing to go after, because if you have it branded as a UFC movie, that pulls in all of that fan base. And UFC has a huge fan base.
Now, just because he's in it, is he going to brand it a UFC movie?
Well, what we'll do when it comes to sponsoring the movie, we're going to ask them to basically let us use their name all over everything. They're going to let us use their arena and their octagon. Dana will probably be in a few of the scenes when it comes to the weigh-ins and whatnot. We'll offer the announcer role to one of their announcers if they want to do that. We're definitely going to go after Joe Rogan as one of the commentators. And so, yeah.
Hey, wait a minute. That guy's in Austin.
He is. He's going to be expensive, but we're going to go after him anyway.
I almost feel like he is my competition. Just kidding. Just kidding. Dude is nowhere near on my level. That's what I'm saying.
That's what we say, man.
That's what we say. Oh, nice. Wow, Dana White. Holy moly. No wonder you got super excited.
Yeah, man.
And things.
That's the first big thing to come through. Other than getting our director, we just finally got a director, and he's produced almost everything out there. He's one of the main producers on I Can Only Imagine. His name is Brent Ryan Green. Just loves the script, loves the story, and loves what it's trying to be. He definitely can see the vision for it.
That is super rad. So what is going to be your role in this?
Mine?
Yep.
I will be the main character. His name is Gabe Larson. He is basically my age, goes from a sales position into a new career of UFC fighting. And so it's a drastic change. He finds the best UFC trainer, Trish, and that would be Nikki. He gets hooked up with her through his best friend, Michael. So that's where me and Nikki come in, and that's how we wrote the story. Honestly, we wrote these characters off of each other. So my character is written off of me, like mannerisms and everything. Nikki's character is written off of her, mannerisms and everything. And so it's going to be the easiest acting job we've ever done in our lives. Yeah. But we wrote it to where we're going to have a lot of fun with, and we've already been training for this. Like Nikki and I have already been through several one-on-one trainings with a great UFC MMA gym out in Springtown, Texas. And they're giving us training for free.
Really?
Yeah, they love the story. They love us. And they said, as long as you take care of us on the back end, we're in, man. Let's do this. They're absolutely amazing because they also have experience with choreography in the industry, and they've got sanctioned fighters at their gym. And one of them is the one that's we've cast him to be one of the fighters in the movie. His name is Wrangler Hicks. Literally, that's his name. He was born to be a Texas MMA fighter. I'm just saying.
Yeah, with a name like that, no kidding.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude has zero fat on his body. I mean, last time we saw him, he was training for a fight. And I mean, he was more ripped than we're used to seeing him. And that's like, he's always ripped. And so that he was more ripped than always being ripped. It was, and he's just terrifying too. And he's such a humble guy. Like, he doesn't talk smack. He just lets his work do the talking for him. And you just don't want to receive any punches or kicks from him.
Yeah, I bet. What are you going to do, Nikki? Are you going to, in this film, are you going to go around kicking everybody's ass?
Ish, yeah. I'm going to definitely be showing Nick a thing or two. He comes in a little thinking he's a little bit better than he is, and I'm going to show him that he's not.
Wait, I thought he was acting in this film.
We said we were basing it off of our lives, right?
Hey,
that is true. That is true.
The best way to do your acting is make it all natural. I mean,
right from the heart. Yeah, ask that one nerd from Big Bang Theory. What's his name? The main nerd?
Oh, Sheldon. Jim Parsons.
Yeah, he wasn't acting.
That's the best way to do it, man.
So, Nick, let me ask you this. I remember that you said you were a lead worship guy. Sorry, I'm terrible with titles. Terrible with titles. You were lead worship guy for like 16 years or something. Guy. And then I know that you said you had a dream about a scene, but you ended up having to take it out. So as a man of faith, you don't think that it was God telling you to make sure that scene was in there?
I think it was him giving me the idea. What we needed to do, because it was just a Hallmark movie beforehand, we needed to up the stakes. And that's one of the biggest things that Brett said, our coverage guy. He's like, you need to up the stakes because this is, like Nikki said, it was a Hallmark movie. And so when we did that, the last scene was in a warehouse. We had to switch it from a warehouse to a freighter on the ports. And so no longer could we do that same scene because the original scene was me dropping in and then taking out all the bad guys from the top. So there's no way I could drop in on a freighter. And so we had to rewrite the whole scene. The essence of the scene is still there. It's in a different place.
You walk in instead of drop in.
Right. So I still do all that stuff. I still take out all the bad guys.
Sure.
I just
okay. Spoiler. Tell the freaking story. Why don't you?
Hey, I'm not giving away the biggest thing at the end, so that's all good.
I didn't train him well enough. I got to get
clearly. Sorry.
Clearly, I feel like Tom Cruise drops in on freighters on the regular, like in his real life. I don't even think it's for movies. Like, I'm pretty sure it's possible. You just got to try harder, man.
We'll see what we can write in.
Hey, Streetwalkers, here's a word from our sponsors.
Magic 8 Ball. Should people visit disabilityshirts.com?
Yes, I am sure.
This is Sammy Hooney. I play Esperanza on Netflix's Raising Dion, and you're listening to the Fascination Street podcast. If you are looking for some shirts with inclusive messages, check out my store, disabilityshirts.com.
Let's get back into it.
How far in the process is this film? I know that you just got all of the funding from the UFC just now while we were talking.
I'm just hoping they'll take care of Joe Rogan's fee. That's all I want. Like just pay Joe Rogan for us. And
that guy's got to be on salary with them anyway, right?
I mean, seriously, I'm pretty sure that he has a contract with
retainer or something.
Yeah.
So how far are y'all in this process?
So it's on the 23rd revision. Obviously, projects go through changes even during shooting. So we're not really worried about that. The story essence will stay like it is, but we just got our director, which he'll have his own input and his own suggestions on the roles that we haven't cast yet. So we're now going to partner with him. Also with the other two producers that we just brought on. They're really going to be the all-star team to really push this forward. I mean, we have right of first refusal from Bondit Media Capital when it comes to funding between $8 and $11 million. And we also have a private investor who's pledged between 15 and 20 million. So we just basically have to get that money in the bank. We're going after distribution after we get our name talent attached, which is, those are all on the pitch deck. And so once we get the names attached, then we go after distribution and then we start setting up a location. So we're looking to shoot this in New Orleans because the story takes place at the LA ports. So we have to have a place to cheat that. And so New Orleans is going to be the best place to cheat that. When it comes to studio work, it's going to be either in New Orleans or Tulsa, Oklahoma, depending on what the best rebate will be when it comes to the investors.
Gotcha.
So that's basically our next step. So we just got the director on board. I literally got his LOI today, LOI meaning letter of intent. And so once he does a little bit more deep dive into the script, him and I will sit down, possibly with Nikki if she has time, because I know her schedule is super busy. And we'll talk about potentials for those roles that haven't been cast yet.
I know a bunch of people who are actors in the New Orleans area. So let me know and I can just fill out that roster for you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Please take this in the spirit in which it is intended, Nicholas. And this is out of genuine curiosity and zero malice. You said yourself earlier that you haven't done a whole lot of big projects.
Right.
Why would two different people or organizations even consider giving you $15 million? You're the writer and the star. And for lack of a better word, you're not a name.
That's a good point. No, and honestly, the way Nikki and I wrote this is because we're not household names like we want to be. We had
well, she is, but I'm sorry, go ahead.
I'm a house name, not a household. It's coming though. I'm getting the hold. The hold is coming.
So since we're not where we want to be, we had to write it in such a way to where we can have our lead roles, but we also wrote these other lead roles that we can give to the A-list actors. And so therefore, because they're attached and we're acting with them, it catapults us to where we want to be.
It's really an ensemble, if you will.
Yeah.
I think it's more of an ensemble type cast. Michael actually starts the whole movie.
Yes.
So
who's Michael?
Michael, the character Michael, which is
okay.
So that's the one that we're trying to go with. So he starts it. And then there's another character that I'm not going to say who we want because they're all going to be our first choice.
I already have a lot of editing to do.
Yeah. Because they're already our first choice. Everybody's our first choice. But we have somebody else that, we would be one of those that's the face of the flyer, if you will. And we, although are very prominent in the movie, we have no problem being third and fourth on the call sheet for those folks.
Gotcha.
Right.
Rock on. So if everything goes the way it's supposed to go, I know this is a dream question, but when do you think you would start shooting?
So we already have a shooting schedule in place, but it's obviously tentative because of name talent availability. And so Brent, the director, does have this time available. The thing is, people usually don't shoot at this time. Our principal photography starts November 1st of this year. So if we get everybody on board, training happens, we get our stunt guys on board and all that other stuff, and we have plenty of time to make that happen, then we'll start November 1st and it'll be 6 weeks of shooting. So we'll probably finish mid-December. That's the ultimate goal. Like best case scenario. Worst case, we'll push it to the beginning of next year.
Sure. Nikki, what have you learned in this exact preemptive strike electric boogaloo process? Mm-hmm. What have you learned that you could apply to the rest of your career, if that makes any sense?
That, patience. Continued patience. You can have a great idea and you can have a great script, but, like you said, it's like, why are these people going to give you the money for it? Like, because, who the heck am I? I've written 2 features and a pilot, and they're sitting on my hard drive right here. But what I will say about Nicholas is he is a go-getter. He works his butt off. He will not sit still until this is done. And I respect him wholly for that. One thing I will say is I will take that with me from him is his drive. Like if I could have a half of his drive, I would have all of my stuff done. So,
thank you.
Yeah. So he's I give him a hard time, but when I tell you,
I love it when
motivated. Yeah, he's motivated, and I love that about him, and I that's what I'll take away from that. Is his.
Well, Nikki, save some of that flowery, glorious stuff for the award ceremony.
I know, right?
Right?
That's how you know she's a writer. Mostly fiction, but hey, that's how you know she's a writer.
No, this project couldn't happen without Nikki, brother. Like, if she didn't come in when she came in, it would literally be just sitting there because, I would have still met Brett, but she's the one that sat down hours upon hours, literally like this, taking the script, and she was doing the work. She's like, no, you can't say that. Oh, you're saying this word too many times. Blah, blah. And she would just sit there and change it while I'm kind of just watching over it. And I think she kind of got a little aggravated at me one time or another because I'd be like, hey, you missed something. Oh, do that again. And so, but literally hours, days and hours that she sat down and did that with me. And I'm like, I'm going to pay you for this. I'm going to pay you in the back end regardless. But then I was like, okay, let's give you a lead role. Okay, I'm going to pay you up front. Like all this different stuff, like, because it just could not have happened without her. It couldn't. Do I have a drive? Yeah. But she is the one that is propelling me forward to have that drive because of how she came in and didn't ask for anything and just gave me her time and expertise. I appreciate all the stuff she said about me, but it literally none of this could have happened without her being part of it. So.
Wow, guys, make out already.
Get a room.
I've always had a respect for Nikki when it comes to her just acting skills. And a part of me is like, I get to act with Nikki Dixon. What the freak, So that's exciting for me because I've always had just a super high respect for her when it comes to her abilities. And I couldn't imagine anybody else being that character because even when Glenn read it, because, he's in it too. He said,
shocker. He's in everything.
I know, right? By the way, Glenn was the first one that attached himself to it when it comes to name talent. So
how cool is that?
Very thankful for that. We wrote the main antagonist role for him. He read it, liked it, and I'm like, hallelujah. I almost freaked out whenever Nikki called me and told me that he's in. And I was like, really?
So how does that work? You're just like, hey, Nikki, can you
That's
get this
exactly what he did. Yeah. That's exactly. Nikki, can you call Glenn? Can you?
Well, I don't have his number or email or anything. So I was like, well, it's on you. Hopefully he said yes.
He still doesn't have Glenn's phone number.
I don't. I have his email now. I don't have his phone number though. So
yeah.
Oh, super rad. I don't have SAG or AFTRA, but I'm available.
Hey.
I know you still need some leads.
Hartley. We'll Taft-Hartley you.
And if it doesn't work out, I got you, bro.
Okay.
I get confused for him all the time. He gets confused for me all the time. So I got you, bro. So in the meantime, because this is still a few minutes from getting started, what else are you guys doing? I know that Nick likes to, this is going to sound super weird, but I know Nick likes to get into a bathing suit and hang out in kiddie pools, but
way out of context there.
Way out of context. That's for an upcoming commercial, guys. So relax. So besides that, what are you guys doing? What are y'all doing in the meantime?
Well, I actually just finished shooting a movie called Bid for Love. It was actually shot here in Dallas, and I was a lead in that.
Were you the auctioneer?
I was. So it's actually a story about a woman who went to jail because of her boyfriend. She got caught up in his
different kind of bid.
Yeah. So got caught up with his shenanigans, and I happened to be her best friend and helping her get reacclimated to life on the outside. There's some fun stuff that happens with that, and that's actually in post-production now. And
oh, sweet.
It's being shot to different networks right now.
Very cool.
I didn't know about that.
There's awesome. A lot that you learned on this show.
I know, right?
About your friend.
Well, I mean, because, when the way we talk with each other is very just like to the point, and so if we don't ask, so what are you doing right now? Then it usually doesn't come up in conversation. Yeah.
He didn't look at look at my social media like that because it's been all over my social media.
I don't. I try to stay off of social media as much as I can, but that doesn't happen either.
Well, I'm glad y'all brought that up. Nikki, where can people find you on social media?
I am the Nikki Dixon on Instagram, Nikki Dixon on Facebook, and I think I guess I tweet every once in a while, like not really.
Twitter. I hate Twitter.
But yeah, I'm all Instagram, the Nikki Dixon on Instagram.
Nice. Nick, where you at? All over Twitter, and then what?
Actually, Twitter and Instagram, it's at the Nicholas Rice. Facebook is just Nicholas Rice, and then YouTube and TikTok is Nicholas Andrew Rice.
I really thought you were going to say
You need to put
MySpace.
all this together. You need to get it on MySpace. Yeah. That'd be great.
Yeah.
MySpace.
MySpace, Nicholas Rice.
Nice. So as we're heading out here, guys, is there anything I didn't ask you about or we didn't talk about that you wanted to talk about? Like, did I cover everything? Did I miss anything?
Mm-mm. Nick is doing that commercial. What else are you doing, Nick, besides your Chase commercial? What else you got? And
that's it.
Being on Fear the Walking Dead.
Yeah, I was, but it was just a featured extra role. I just did it for a paycheck. Because even if you do a featured extra role, because that's, a big bump from extra when it comes to the payout, they pay you the day rate for the testing days. Mm. Yeah, it actually ends up being a good little chunk. And so I'm like, all right, I'll go do it.
All right, I'm looking forward to being a featured extra on a Preemptive Strike Electric Boogaloo.
Yes.
That is going to be so much fun.
I think we're going to search that.
Electric Boogaloo. Let's change it.
Preemptive Strike Electric Boogaloo.
Yeah, that is going to be dope. So, guys, I just want to thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy day and your hurricane schedules to hang out and let us get to know you a little bit better on Fascination Street.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for the invite. I had a great time.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for the invite. This was amazing. I love doing these things.
Oh, well, fantastic. The pleasure was all mine. You guys have a great weekend.
You
now,
too.
Nikki, it looks like the trees behind you are blowing crazy buck wild.
Yeah.
I know there's a hurricane in Atlanta. I got one over here. Maybe this won't ever come out because we're all about to die. I have no idea.
Let's hope that's not the case.
Tell Glenn I said hello. He's going to be like, who?
Yeah. Who does that?
And whatever you do not tell my sister I said hello.
Okay. We'll never do that.
All right. Thank you guys so much. Y'all have a great weekend.
You too.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Bye.
Bye-bye. Opening music is the song Magnolia from the 2001 album Intransigence, used with permission from Douglas Miles Clark. Closing music is from the song Say My Name off the 2021 album Underdog Anthems, used with permission from Jack's Hollow. If you like the show, tell a friend, subscribe,
and rate and review the show on iTunes and wherever else you download podcasts. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. All the episodes are available there as well. Check me out on Vero at Fascination Street Pod and TikTok at Fascination Street Pod. And again, thanks for listening.